Okay, this is part 2, to keep these videos kind of short. This is Zoe Quinn dealing with her photographer, who is relaying this horror story. She calls Zoe Quinn the worst client she had ever had. Zoe Quinn was telling her during the photo shoot how she stabbed a man in the face with a knife and ran away. I was skeptical as well. 2 claims involved alleged workplace incidents and were her prime explanation for why she cannot hold a job, because she stabs people in the face. I was mildly disconcerted because, true or false, these stories have good cause to make one uneasy. She also claimed to have reported nothing to police or management at her work. Okay. This was not all we discussed. We talked about modeling, the websites, and adult stuff in general. It was what we both did for a living, and candid conversation on the subject was not unusual. Next day, I had to drive everyone to the location of our shoot, which was her roommate's place of employment, an arcade. This is the location where the photo shown here was taken. I was irritated after driving 200 miles and having to carry all my equipment. I was also deliberately given the false impression that Zoe would have her own transport. I was also irritated that Zoe could provide neither her own wardrobe. It's normal for a model to use her own personal items, like underwear, bra, and panties, nor her own food while on site. Keep in mind, we were both paid by a site. Once the photos are sold, everything I spent came out of my own pocket. Otherwise, the shoot was unremarkable. We tried for more photos that afternoon in a forested area that Zoe directed me to. We didn't have enough light or privacy. I returned home, spent countless hours editing hundreds of photos. It was a terrible experience, but so be it. When I was ready to send the photos off to Deviant Nation, the site we work for, I wrote to her to let her know. I always had a few days. I always got a model's final approval before sending the photos off. Zoe informed me her roommate, who had been involved in the shoots, either by being in the apartment or smuggling us into her place of work, turned out to be a mentally unbalanced cunt, her words not mine, among other things, and that it was unacceptable to use any of the photos we had taken that weekend. I was pretty upset about this and sent her several messages asking if perhaps I could talk to her roommate and have her sign a waiver or something, despite the fact that neither Zoe nor I had any legal obligation. Zoe insisted she was a evil, crazy bitch. Weeks later, a handful of other models I had worked with on site messaged me to inform me that Zoe had written them and told them that I forced her to look at mutilated vagina pictures, which she said had horrified her, and she had basically sent me away then and there. The model she told this to knew me and thankfully came to me with these nonsense claims. We had in fact discussed cosmetic surgery while talking about modeling and looked up before and after breast shots. Conversation moved on to labiaplasty, and we looked at those images as well. And I, just for the sake of research, I looked up. If you, I think I went to DuckDuckGo, I looked up vagina pictures before and after, and it shows you, there's a couple things women can get done to their vaginas as they hit 30 and they realize it needs a rejuvenation because it's been, I guess, banged so hard. They, the first thing they can do is just get the lips. I guess sometimes the lips will get too big and they kind of spread out. So you can get that removed a little bit. And that's just kind of decorative. And the second one is they can tighten it up, probably by putting a couple stitches inside. I don't know how they do that. So they actually tighten up the entrance hole and tighten up the tube itself. Probably after you have kids or something, or if you've, I don't know, had years of being fisted, you might want that done. But it's, I looked at these pictures before and after vagina pictures, and they have the outer labia, the inner labia, and yes, on some of the before pictures, some girls have bigger labias than others, but guess what? That's what they're supposed to look like. I can't imagine someone getting that done, unless you're a nude model or something. It's just, that's what it's supposed to look like. It looks good. I think 99.9% of men or women who go down on vaginas are perfectly happy with the way they look. It's just something wealthy people do in LA because they have too much free time. Okay, so they looked at these pictures, and you can look at them too. They're kind of interesting. A lot of women want innies, not outies. And I didn't spend 3 hours on the site, I swear. I decided it wasn't worth the fight. I was eventually contacted by the roommate who told me a very different story to the one Zoe had, and I let the issue drop. I was never paid, but I never published the image because I respected her wishes. I still have the images in archive on my computer. Well, let's take a look at them. I was never reimbursed. So you bought food for them? Tell them to go get effed. To someone starting their career, it was quite a dig at my wallet. 7 years later, Zoe is still by far the worst client I've ever had. What does it have to do with Gamergate? When I realized Locke was Zoe, I was disgusted to see she was still playing the same games. Stealing, cheating, lying, and claiming to be victimized by anyone and everyone. Maybe she did stab some guy in the face, and maybe in the first week at every new job she had, some guy tried to extort sex from her. There's no way. She doesn't look that good. She's just not that sexy. I mean, she looks okay, but not, come on. Maybe that doesn't establish a modus operandi on her part, but I know I did nothing wrong to that woman. I did not deserve to be lied about. I did not deserve to have my time and my money wasted, and even now I wonder if opening my mouth about this means she will try to think of some new horse excrement to spread about me, try to ruin my career. Then that does appear to be her modus operandi. If this were a courtroom, I would call myself some sort of character witness, and I'll let you all make of this what you will. Share it if you feel like it. I couldn't keep my mouth shut. Anyway, this... she posted redacted version of the email exchange, which Quinn claimed to have murdered someone who tried to assault her. Oh my God. Much later, Iran Johnny, Quinn's infamous ex, would confirm a lot of Mallory's claims against Quinn on his Tumblr. Ew, Tumblr. I guess back in the day, Tumblr used to be a lot more fun. She would go on to confirm the emails were from Quinn, and on her Facebook less than a day later, she would also post an email exchange that further established Quinn is unstable, in which Quinn would further try to justify trying to sabotage Nasrallah's career with other models on DeviantNation. The entire incident perfectly captures the essence of Zoe Quinn: manipulative, aggressive, and willing to harass, belittle, and hurt the careers of others simply because they had the gall to defy her. To this day, Zoe Quinn claims the images from her DeviantNation days, including images Quinn as Valentine uploaded herself, constitute revenge porn, something she later expanded to include literally any image of her that was remotely sexualized, including comics parodying her. Well, if you look at her images online, there are tons of them, and they're not... I mean, she's making a statement that they were taken by a boyfriend, but this person is a photographer, not her boyfriend. In fact, her boyfriend was present when she was taking these photographs. So, seems like Zoe Quinn is lying. Zoe Quinn's ex-boyfriend, what he has to say. They hit it off in Canada. Zoe had divorced her husband a year previous. They dated for a month before her constant lying caused him to break it up. Okay, they met at a coffee shop, and then after the coffee shop, they wound up sleeping together after dinner. That's moving pretty quick, but why not? Their first sexual experience apparently consisted of her demanding to be pampered, then abruptly leaving in the middle of the encounter because her phone rang and her roommate appeared to pick her up. As if the entire event had been solely for Quinn to indulge herself and then leave. Okay, so she wants to, she wants to get her orgasm and then she wants to leave. There's nothing wrong with that. Nothing wrong with a man or a woman having just a, physical relationship, apparently. I mean, you meet someone and you have sex after dinner, after your first meeting. Well, yeah, that's not really deep emotional bonding sex. That's just kind of, quickie. The ex claims the relationship went downhill. They had dinner again, and then she made up bizarre lies about being in a car accident to get out of the dinner. She cracked her rib. I've known people like this. They make up, adults in their 30s and 40s who make up bizarre, obviously untrue lies about these kind of things. There's one mutual friend of ours. This guy would... when he wanted to get out of an event, like everyone's going somewhere up to Tahoe or something. And it's like, if you don't want to go, just, I'm not going to go. I don't want to go. Or a bachelor party or something like that. You just say, I don't want to go. I'm not into it. I'm going to pass. This dude would say it was his mom's birthday, except he would say it several times a year. So this other buddy started writing down the mom's birthday excuses. And how many times can you be born in a year? It was, those kind of people are, I think they have borderline personality disorder. They have something wrong. It's like, they're people pleasers. They'll say whatever they think you want to hear, but it's always better to just tell someone no right off the bat. No, I'm not available. The ex explained it was surreal seeing this idiot was basically treated me like shit in a fashion, starting getting paraded around as the god emperor of SJW culture. This victim just tied to the cross of the gaming industry. It blew my effing mind. According to the ex, a lot of his acquaintances knew what a terrible human being Zoe was, and she was the express reason that several of his friends had left Toronto. A friend of his from the indie gaming scene once elaborated Quinn was a social pariah of the game jam, was full of shit, and had fucked everyone on her game jam team. Yeah, she was also accused of trading sex for favors. He was afraid to speak up because of her level of influence. Yeah. He later espoused that Chelsea's claims of being agender is ridiculous. When asked if that made him pansexual because she is supposedly not male or female, he said no, that makes her an idiot. There is no basis in reality for her to be agender, and it was clearly just her striving for attention. And he bets she Googles her name constantly since Gamergate happened. This is true since we know from his testimony she had a habit of stalking him using Google alerts and using her friends to keep constant tabs on her enemies. Wow. Okay, it goes on and on. This is like, I'm a third of the way through, and it's just, there's a lot of people who have had experiences with her, and it's like, you have experiences with very, very bad people, and you need to start protecting yourself. You need to archive things, and, especially in business relationships, you always need to keep, have everything written down and archived and that kind of thing. But I get the feeling these people had dealings with her, and they probably went out and told their friends about it. Like, I just met the strangest woman you will ever meet. I think she's actually mentally ill. So these people, now that Zoe Quinn got famous, all the people that she has wronged, they're coming out of the closet, out of the woodwork, because there's safety in numbers, and saying, hey, hashtag me too, Zoe Quinn abused me. Okay, so this goes on and on. You can check it out. It is, it's just Google Zoe Quinn, and the wiki, LOLCOW wiki, will come up with her, and I'm sure Kiwi Farms also has something on her. It's it just paints her as a nut job. And the thing is, if it's a couple of accounts, it would be one thing, but it's not. It's just, look at this, it's pages and pages of people who are coming forward, and they're not anonymous. They're coming forward saying their names and saying, hey, this event transpired. She screwed me over on these dates, and there's tons of people who are witness to it. So, Volver Gamergate, yeah, that you're probably aware of that. Let's see, sexual harassment allegations. Yeah, of course, people sexually harassed her. Streisand effect. The UN debacle. But I'm already at 13 minutes. Okay, guys, check out Big Steve, one word, on YouTube. He's a fun guy. There's late night live streams. And I will see you guys next episode.